Welcome to Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. In this video, I am going to demonstrate how powerful CHS is in tracking things by job, and the fact that you don't have to set up a bunch of accounts in your chart of accounts for each job, because we post the job in a separate field when we're entering entries, and CHS can comb through your database and find things by job and sum up by job. It can also track your cash by job because of that. And you need to discuss this with your attorney, but in general, as I understand it, if you have a software that will track your cash by job, you may not need to be setting up all these multiple checking accounts to deal with your various jobs. So the first place I'm going to go is over here under Accounting, called Financials, Balance Sheet, P&L, Trial Balance, Cash Flow. So let's click that. We will come back to this window to talk more about balance sheets and income statements, etc. But first of all, I am going to click to expand this section for balance sheets, trial balance, and cash flow. You will notice that over here on the left, we have trial balances for the entire company, and cash flow down here for the entire company. And we will come back and talk more about those. But the first thing I'd like to show you is that under the entire company, and then we're going to jump over to job things, you're going to see that there's a trial balance with job sums. And by trial balance, it means it shows you the balances in every account on your chart of accounts, accounting-wise, for all your regular accounting entries. But if you'll notice, this particular window that opens has each of those accounts and the balances in their account, and underneath it shows how much of that balance is for each job. And you can click to drill down on these to get a little general ledger report of those accounting transactions that has quite a lot of data in it, but it'll give you all the detail of what journal, accounts payable, your descriptions, what cost codes you used, and the total of all of that. You would need to print this as landscape when you do print that kind of ledger. But you can see how valuable that is, that you can see it right now in our direct construction costs or work in progress account. We have balances for 3 jobs, and we're real glad to see that our closed job that we were doing in some other videos, that's called the DeGroot job, that there's no balances remaining in there because we closed that job. And when we did, we were closing out a total to sales, single family home, and a total to cost of sales. And that's the only job that we do have in those 2 particular accounts. We have another little remodeling job going on that we're posting directly to sales remodeling and cost of sales remodeling. But you might have more than one job showing up there. You can see that we did a demo where we were actually posting a job cost to general liability account for a job, so you can see that there's that, and you can print a full trial balance. It's going to do a reverse calculation to show you how much is the total for cash, which you can prove to yourself by printing a list of your cash accounts. But this should come down to 0 because it is a trial balance. But you can see again in the 1430 account that we can see the amounts for each job there. So that's the trial balance by job. I did another video showing you, and you can click this link here, how you can reconcile your job costs to the accounting balances on your financial statements, and how you can do some more reviewing of costs. So I won't go into that now. My point is that CHS, you can have one account on your chart of accounts set up for your work in progress account, and then CHS will be able to show you how much is in that account for each job. There is one other little, it's just a report that's a trial balance with job and department sums. You can see that in DeGroot, under direct construction costs, for some reason we posted something to the OH and something to the CH and in and out amount. And And this, so you have a few more lines because it's summing by job and department, but we're not going to go into that too much right now. So the other thing is, I've had a demo job. I've just been posting some things to this demo VistaView job, and we'll take a look at it. In this section, I can select a job, and then I can do a little trial balance that is just for that job. And it will show you how much net cash has been contributed, and we'll see that on a cash flow report here in a minute. But you can see how much is in each account. This will be how much this accounts payable trade, how much is in accounts payable that hasn't been paid yet, basically, for this job. And part of this balance is in this direct construction costs as unpaid amounts. But you can see how you can get little trial balance totals to see where that job is at. Then you can also do a cash flow for a job, and cash flow accounting wise is always sometimes a little bit hard for some people to understand, but I'm going to explain. But first of all, you're going to see sources of cash, and sources of cash are quite often liability accounts that you'll see for your sources of cash, or there'll be sales accounts, that kind of thing. But in our custom home environment and world, the reason something like your open accounts payable that aren't paid yet are considered a source of cash is because under uses of cash, anything posted to this 1430, even unpaid ones, are here. So accounting wise, when you do a cash flow report, you do have to, the liabilities are included up here. This makes sense here that you got this much probably for interim draws and this much for a contract deposit. So they call that sources of cash. Although it's not just really cash, but you have to do it because they're also, for a cash flow, are going to include everything in your uses of cash, whether they're paid or unpaid. So it comes down and shows that the net cash contributed is $106,652.38. Now what I'd like to show you before we go on to just seeing the detail behind all of that is another very powerful tool. Over here, this says the data below is only based on records for jobs other than the H job. We're only interested in real jobs. The H job is just all our overhead and everything else. It doesn't have to really do with jobs that we've set up. And this is going to show only records that are marked as paid with a cash or credit card account. It includes deposits, and you could print a list of your cash and credit card balances first. I don't think this builder actually has any credit cards going on, but these are the totals in our cash balances right now at the bank for most of these. So anyway, you could print that to put on top of this, but I'd like to click this button where we're going to analyze the data for each job and how much is in each checking account or bank account that we have. Quite often I'm assuming you'll have one bank account probably for construction costs, and you'll probably just be using it, but we've been running around in a demo and using a builder's things. And so you can see up here our closed job is to group. It's grouping by the job, then it's grouping by, then it's showing a line for each checking account and how much activity there has been for each checking and how much deposits were made for this job into each one of these checking accounts. Payables is usually checks written. It definitely is checks that are paid. If you had any payroll you applied to the jobs, or if you posted any journal entries, or this column is for any other thing. And you can drill down, like I could drill down on this and I could see what deposits were posted and the total of them, what kind of deposits they were for that job. I could also drill down, most of our checks looks like was written in the other checking account, but I can see what vendors were paid, how much they were paid, and get a list of the payables that were posted to that checking account. And over here, if you watch our videos about doing profit transfers, after we close this job, we followed the procedures for profit transfers, and we actually, for this job, we transferred everything to our overhead account, and this is showing you how much we transferred out for this job out and into our overhead account, so that basically left in each one of these checking or bank accounts is a zero amount for the job, but we still like to show how much went in and out, what the job net was that went in and out of each of these cash accounts. Also, we're going to go down here and look at the demo job we've been doing. I do not know why my dog decides to bark when I decide to do these videos. But anyway, on the Vista view, we can see, we just for some reason leaped over here and we did one check, and we did it out of this WTNB construction for this Vista view. We can say, what was that check? You know, it was when we were talking about doing a test and we were demonstrating some stuff, and I probably just randomly selected a checking account during a demo. But anyway, I could see what one check I wrote for this job out of this particular checking account, so that gives me that information. There's been no profit transfers, but here we have done deposits of $114,000, and we can get a printout of that. This is only checks that we've paid here, so we can get a printout of that. And these are just paid. So we can see that this job has $106,652.38, which is the deposits less the checks. You can see the job net here less the checks, $106,652.38. We've actually moved $1,000 in our profit transfer demonstration, so really we only have $107,652.38, or $107 in this account that's been contributed. So this shows overall what this job has contributed straight out cash wise so far to you. Which would be different maybe than whatever you do for an income statement. This is actually just tracking cash, how much is in that account for that. Now let's take a look at something else here. We can also see by checking account and then by jobs. So we can do this. This is a big PDF report. We can't do it in HTML because it's actually doing some linking reports, and it doesn't like to do it, but you'll be much better off looking at this if you use the little download icon and get it open in your own Adobe Acrobat Reader. And we'll take a look at this. So first you'll see, I had this narrowed down earlier. First you'll see this bank account, then this bank account, and you will see how much is in each account. You can see the initial job net for each job for this account. So you can see that there's a job net. You can see we did do profit transfers out. This is the balance in this bank account right now. So there's a little difference in H jobs and other kinds of activities that don't exactly relate to a job. So we just put that difference in there for you. So you can see this is the balance in the account, but how much of it is for real jobs. And so we have zero really left in this account for DeGroot because we transferred it out. And we have, we transferred it out to our overhead checking. So for Vista View, we have $107,653 in this account contributed by this Vista View. So that can be very interesting for how much, and making sure you're not crossing over or pulling some out for some job. You can see that back down here on this one, we've used $2,000 probably of Sane's money when we wrote this check, so we may want to do some transfers or something to take care of that, who knows. But you can see how very detailed CHS gets in showing you how much is in the account for each job. The profit transfer of open that we've talked about before, if I jump over here to this report right here, it's the profit status cash available of all active open jobs as of today. Let's look at our Vista View one that will show up on here, because it's showing this demo job that we have. It's showing all kinds of things like the price, our original profit. But if we go way over here, you're going to see cash flow balance, and that basically comes from that calculation we were seeing on the other screen. We're actually showing revenues that we still have to receive, actual job costs paid, costs remaining to pay, net cash that's due in or out, the net of all of this. We're still expecting some. But we see that our cash flow balance as of today for that job is this much, and that we have unpaid accounts payable of this much. So really, we've posted this much. Job cash available to us is $36,000. That's interesting information if you're considering doing a profit transfer out of the checking account that stuff was in and into your overhead. You don't want to shortchange yourself for the cash. All right, the other thing is that you can see all of that detail for that cash flow by job. We do have to include the unpaid accounts payable to get the proper kind of cash flow down here, but you'll see this one is by journal and then by date, and is showing everything in 1430-76, including the unpaid, but right underneath it, you'll end up seeing in the accounts payable journal all the unpaid. So the difference between that one and this one up here is how much you've actually paid out. And other various detailed entries. Here's the detail of your deposits. Journal deposit, you can see that all our deposits did go into 1015 cash account, 114,720,738. So you probably see that when you go over here to click to analyze 114,727,38. You can also see that over there, that those are actual deposits. But I just wanted to make you aware that you can get a lot of information about cash flow by job or trial balances that some by job, and you can actually sit and analyze your cash accounts by job and see some various reports of all of that. But this click to analyze is pretty interesting, where you can open it up and see how much activity has gone in and out of each cash account. We will come back and talk more about departments and all the balance sheets a little bit one at a time. Right now I wanted to demonstrate this while I'm talking about job cost management and the various videos about that. By the way, you can go do your list of checks, and in your list of checks you can ask for how much of these checks, even if you paid for 3 or 4 jobs on one check, you can ask for it to show you how much on the checks was only for one job, which can be handy if you're doing some sort of request for reimbursement of those checks from somebody. Usually you use draw request, but you can use list of checks, and that will be demonstrated more in the draw request videos. So I wanted to make you aware of that. I'll do a few sample reports in the help section so you can look at some of this on your own with the sample reports about the cash flow. Thank you for watching.